Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hina Ejaz. Welcome to Pakistan. The guests I'll be welcoming today hail from Southeast Asia. I have two females who came to Pakistan many years ago and stayed on. But what was the reason for coming here? Well, that you shall find out, and I'm sure you'll be very happy to hear that. As you know, we always have a foreigner in the show and a Pakistani. Interestingly, today there's a couple. A foreigner, a female, married to a Pakistani. She came to Pakistan. The other one, yes, of course, again, a foreigner, came to Pakistan, stayed on, and of course got married abroad, but again, like moved to Pakistan. So it's a love story, but how did it happen? You'll find that out. And what have they been doing here? They've been contributing to Pakistan's economy in the most efficient and best manner, I'd say, because they're affiliated to the field of education. So how did this start working here? How the journey has been so far? Was it challenging? How has it been living in Pakistan? Let's find out. I'm not going to go into further details here, so let's not kill the surprise. I have Dr. Dania Qazi with me on the left. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Dr. Dania.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, you've joined us in Pakistan many years ago, but yes, thank you for joining us here on the show.
Thank you so much.
And on my right is Milene Ibrar. Hi, Milene. So hello, I believe your husband's name is Ibrar.
Yes, yes.
So you met Mr. Ibrar somewhere abroad, I think in the Philippines. Is that
yes,
right?
I met him.
So we'll find out about that story. But with Dr. Dania, we have a cardiologist, her husband. Again, he is contributing to the medical industry of Pakistan. He is associated with healthcare in the best possible way. He's a cardiologist. Dr. Khurram Shahzad Qazi. Assalamu alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, fine, alhamdulillah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us with Dr. Dania. So we're going to find out more about you on this side. I think there's more to tell on this side, but I'm sure Milene has lots of stories to tell too. Well, Dr. Dania, you are the CEO for the Leadership School, which you founded.
Yes.
And you're also a trainer.
Yes.
So you are into trainings, into strategic planning, and towards human development, towards resources at companies. How are you managing all of this? I mean, there's a lot on your platter at the moment.
Well, that's true. Well, I think it's about time management. Well, other than that, I'm also a mother, and I'm also a wife.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I think it's about perspective. How do you really want to become a good mother and become a good wife, and at the same time become a good individual who can contribute to the society. So it's just really a matter of time management and your drive, deep inside you, what is it really you wanted to achieve as a person.
How long has it been for you in Pakistan? I mean,
it's been 21 years to be exact.
21 years,
yes.
Over 2 decades.
Yes.
So you met Dr. Qazi in the Philippines.
Yes.
So, Dr. Sahab, I think we were talking right before the show.
Yeah.
I mean, this was off the record, but I'm sure this can go on the record.
Yeah, sure.
So you were studying together.
We were studying together.
And why did you go to the Philippines?
I just wanted to. Philippines, education is very good in Philippines. Almost 98% is the literacy rate. Yeah. And it's also in Asia also, you can say, right? So you don't have much cultural differences. It's very easy to adapt compared to going to USA or other places.
Right, absolutely.
They have values. They have values.
It's within our region,
yeah,
so it's
within the region.
Accessibility is easier. But did you ever think that you're going to marry somebody there? Because there's a dream for every Pakistani family that you must come back, even if you go and study abroad, you must come back and get married here.
Yeah, it's very true. Actually,
was it difficult convincing your family?
It was actually very difficult. We passed through hard times also, and I never knew. But I believe that marriages are made in heaven. So I never knew that I will go there and I'll find someone I'll get married to, because I was exclusively in Eastern College in a boys' school, and I had no experience whatsoever. I was into this poetry and all other things like that, literature too much, but I never experienced, I never thought that I will fall in love with someone.
Well, so far, what I've heard about the Philippines is that when you go there, exotic fruits is what you get. It's beautiful. Natural beauty is phenomenal.
Yes.
So I'm sure it must be like a dream come true for you as well, Doctor.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you met Dr. Dania there.
Yes.
So what about you, Milene? What happened? I mean, you met your husband in the Philippines?
Yeah, I met him there. Actually, that time I was actually working in an office in Makati City,
You
Philippines.
were in the financial sector?
Yes. I'm working as an administrative assistant in Mowad Manila, the Pidari Incorporated, and I met my husband.
And he was working there too?
No, actually, they were just on a visit with some friends, where my best friend was the one who introduced him to me.
So they were tourists there, is that right?
Yeah, they were tourists actually that time.
Right. And then your best friend introduced the two of you?
Yes, yeah. So what happened is we just gathered together with, there's a meeting because they were on the export-import business that time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So there was some
So there was a
stuff
meeting
also.
where my best friend was also a part of, and I was invited.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I met him.
Lovely. What a fantastic story. I mean, you met when you were studying together. She met her husband when he was visiting the Philippines.
I mean, on top of that also, well, I was actually a professor in that university.
Oh,
so I was
wow.
studying at the same time, but he was never my student, okay, to be on record.
Okay.
So we happened to have a common friends also. So same, I think, friends are always you can say the key.
Well, we're going to talk about your work life also. How's it been living in Pakistan for 20 plus years, roughly? But before that, I'd like you to see a special report prepared by our team about the Philippines. How beautiful Philippines is, what it's all about. Let's take a look at it. Well, what gorgeous coral reefs, I must say. The sea life, the underwater life, coral reefs and everything, it's gorgeous. So Dr. Dania and Milene, how much of all this do you miss while being in Pakistan, or rather living here?
Yes, we do miss a lot our country. At the end of the day, we've stayed there for half of our years, and the other half is spent in Pakistan, you can say. So on the other side, it's also family. We miss a lot of our families over there. But the best part is because we do have a community in Pakistan where a lot of Filipinos are here also. It's like a family. We come together, we see each other, as much as we can. And I think it a little bit replaced that kind of, missing the Philippine side, because we're seeing each other. So I think we have to do with whatever it is available, with us.
Accessibility is easy. I mean, just to get to the Philippines, it's not it's not a very long flight compared to other parts of the world.
Not that much, but sometimes we have to go to some stopovers, like in Bangkok or in Dubai.
Yes, of course.
So usually takes maximum of 10 hours.
I mean, do you visit the Philippines frequently?
I used to when my kids were small. We were every when they were.
I thought it would be the other way around. That now that
schools,
they've grown up, it's easier now.
During summer holidays, actually, we used to go there when they were small. But as they grow up, you know, we just settled her more.
So you, is it safe to say that you've adjusted well in Pakistan? I mean, both of you.
Alhamdulillah, we did.
And you have a settled work life here.
Yes.
Dr. Dania is running her own, I'd say, corporation. And Milene, you're affiliated with a very well-known organization.
Yes, and I love my job there.
Your campus is beautiful.
Exactly.
The work environment is great.
That's true.
So,
yes.
and you've been working here in the education sector for 20 years now.
Not actually. I started around 8 years ago. Only.
8 years ago.
Yeah,
you took a break in between.
I had a break, yeah. I was a stay-home mom after, when I first settled here. I have a very hands-on mom. So when my kids went to Beacon House, I was, I think around, when my eldest was in grade 4 or grades, I'm not sure, grade 5, grade 6, I started joining the teaching profession that time. Yeah, and you know, and from there I flourished as a teacher.
Dr. Qazi, what's your observation for foreigners, not just Dr. Dania as your wife or Milene, you may know. What do you think? Is it difficult for foreigners to settle in Pakistan as per your observation?
No, really
it must
not.
be a very close observation.
No. Yeah, it's true. No, really, it's not like that. I was really I had a lot of doubts and misconceptions when I was bringing her here to Pakistan.
Right.
But really, I was overwhelmed the way people welcome. Any offices went, Department of Foreign Affairs, Passport Office, we were always welcomed. We were always prioritized. And I was very much happy that I was so proud that we are a very good nation and a very welcoming nation. We never had hard times, really.
Would you endorse that, Dr. Dania?
Absolutely. I 100% agree with him because I never had any problem in Pakistan. And I think I must say that I definitely I'm still enjoying my stay here. And somehow, you know, we kind of say to each other that we feel like a princess here.
That's good to hear.
People, actually.
Yes.
Very hospitable, and compared to the, I mean, same as the Filipinos, the way they, you know, they treat the people, the foreigners, the guests. I've seen that similarity right away when I first arrived here. And
Right.
That's yes, she's right. They treated us like princess or queen.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. I mean, that's amazing. Just hearing that. On that note, I'm going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to further talk about their expeditions in Pakistan. How were they? Where all have they been, and where all do they intend to go if they've missed out a spot? We'll talk about it, but right after a short break. Welcome back. We have Dr. Dania and her husband here, Dr. Qazi, who's a cardiologist. And on the other side, I have Milene Ibrar with me. Milene has been living here for 20 years, Dr. Dania here for roughly 21 years. They're associated with the education industry. They've contributed immensely because Dr. Dania started her own school. She's also a trainer. And Milene is associated with teaching. So we have health and education going hand in hand here. So Dr. Dania, was it difficult adjusting into the work environment? First we talked about your domestic life. Okay. You said people welcomed you with open arms, even if you went to the markets, even if you went for your passports or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
But when it comes to work life, you see, you're spending a lot of time there, half your day there.
Yes.
Was it difficult adjusting given a different ethnicity, a different nationality from birth?
Well, at the beginning, since, of course, before my own company or before my own school, I was associated with other institutions, and I was with the university first, and then later on I went to a chain of school. So at the beginning, of course, I should say it's not very, very easy, but it's also not very difficult because I think the best part about Lahore and the rest of the other cities also, Lahore is a metropolitan city in a way where everybody really speaks in English. So communication is very easy for me. And number two, it looks like I mean, the way I see it, it looks like that a lot of people really are very open to foreigners also. They always wanted to know more about you, about the difference that we have, what is it that they can learn from you, what can you contribute. Yes, of course, in a positive way. What they can, you know, what you can contribute and what is it that they can take out from you that is a part of development for themselves also.
Right.
So it's challenging and yet, I mean, very easy also, and at the same time, you know, it's kind of, it gives me a lot of inspiration to do, because I always, I have this value system in myself that I always wanted to help. I always wanted to, you know,
give
to contribute.
back to the society.
Yes. Because
but Dr. Dania, weren't you a little hesitant being associated with some good names over the past few years that you've been working? In fact, not few, many years that you've been working. Starting your own venture, it's risky. Another country, obviously, though you've been living in this country for many years, 2 decades now, but still, was it, I mean, were you a little hesitant?
Well, at the beginning, yes. But I think with, like, for example, at the beginning, I was with UMT, and it's really a tremendous help. That is why where I am right now is because of UMT, because a lot of friends that I have there, they've really helped me out a lot to what is it that I can do for the society. Other than that, because you see, I've journeyed with so many other institutions also. Another one is City School. Of course, my heart is still with them because, of course, I was with them for quite a lot of years, and of course, you know, a lot of associations with a lot of people, and I've learned from them, and I grew with them. So that is why opening up my own is at the beginning a little bit, you know, kind of, yes, but with their help, with a lot of friends that I've met, with all these people. So and they're the ones who really pushed me to say, okay, go ahead, you know, I think you can do it. So with their support and all the friends I have, and so I decided to, okay, let's do it.
Well, you've done well. I must congratulate you on that note.
Yeah.
Dr. Qazi, when Dr. Dania was starting her own business, were you a little hesitant, or did you go ahead and encourage her that she must go and do this?
No, I wasn't hesitant. I have always encouraged her in whatever she ever wanted to do. I was with her side by side. I always want her to be happy in any ways I can. I used to offer all kind of help, all kind of support.
That's amazing.
I never said even one time you don't have to do that.
Very
I never
lucky,
stopped her. I never stopped her happiness, never ever.
So do you think it was difficult for her to adjust to our culture or, you know, our customs when she initially came to Pakistan?
No, it wasn't that difficult, because she is she can adjust very well to any kind of situations. Very adaptive actually, and very cooperative. So it wasn't that difficult.
But still, you know, the culture in the Philippines is slightly, in fact, a lot different than Pakistan. Our customs, our culture, our traditions are much different. So adaptation, I mean, it was such a diverse adaptation.
You're
Was
very
it
much
difficult?
Right. You're very much right. It was a little difficult, you can say, but the main thing between Pakistan and Philippines, cultures are different, traditions are different, but the values are almost the same.
Right.
They are very,
So that helped.
yeah, they're very family-oriented people. They know how to respect elders, how to take care of their youngsters, and they're very good in these things. So it was not that difficult. I was presuming it to be very difficult actually. But when she came here, it was very easy actually, not that difficult. Definitely you have to accustom yourself to a particular situation. It takes a little while. But anyway, it was not that difficult as I was thinking. Because the values are, culture is entirely different, no doubt, but the values are same. They are family-oriented people, so that helped.
So, and Milene, what about you? Was it difficult for you to adjust? Well, I'm assuming no, it wasn't.
Yes, of course. At first it was. I had to
I mean, adapting
adjust
to the culture, the
the
dress
culture,
code,
yes.
everything.
The food, the language, of course, everything is. It really.
It's different, obviously.
Yes, I'm not used. We are not used to that spicy food, you know.
Yes.
And when I used to cook, it was like. It's really blunt compared to the Filipino, I mean to Pakistani food. But you know, later on, I came to like every dishes. I learned how to cook all these kind of dishes as well.
Have you become immune to spicy food now?
Yeah.
You like it now?
Yes.
What is it most that you like to eat?
Biryani.
And Dr. Dania, you?
Yes, well, I eat everything.
You eat everything.
Yes, and she's a very good cook.
I
as
cook
well.
everything
She's
and I
a
eat
first-class
everything.
cook.
You can cook Pakistani meals well, is that right?
I cook biryani, pulao, karai.
Dr. Qazi, can you endorse that? Does it really happen?
Of course. Very well.
Name them. So, I love feeding people. So, I think that is why, I can cook.
But Dr. Qazi, what have you enjoyed most in the Philippines cuisine?
Philippine cuisine, basically we were actually students there. So we used to go to McDonald's, this and that. Then we had these traditional Filipino maids who have been working with Pakistanis. So they used to cook all kind of Pakistani food,
So no
no Filipino food. Basically Filipino food, when you come, mostly it is seafood. I don't like seafood up to now.
You don't? So
I don't. So I cannot say that I enjoyed the Filipino food because I don't like seafood.
So you haven't explored much there?
No, not much.
Right.
Not much.
Right.
We offer a lot of seafoods in the Philippines.
Yes.
That is why I used to say to him that you've missed half of your life.
So the major content in Filipino food is seafood.
Seafoods, yes.
And rice as well.
Yes.
Like we have wheat, you have
Yes,
rice.
Yeah, the reason is because, as you can see, Philippines is an archipelago,
Yes.
and it has 1,107 islands.
Yes.
Yeah. So therefore, there are a lot of sea and a lot
And
of.
then you border
a lot
with
of
Malaysia,
seafoods.
Vietnam, everything. Any country that has something to do with sea.
Yes, precisely. So we offer a lot of seafood. So you can just imagine the kind of varieties of dishes that we have using all this.
So Milene, you live in Lahore, your husband's based in Lahore. So where all have you been around discovering Pakistan?
I've been to Karachi, of course, Islamabad, Mari, of course.
Well, these are the main spots. So tell me about some of the more exciting spots in Pakistan.
Most exciting. The northern areas, actually.
Where all in the northern areas have you been?
Actually, I'm not into the name. I could not. And that was years back, actually.
But ahead of
when my
Mari.
daughters were, sorry?
But ahead of Mari you've been.
Yeah. It was definitely ahead of, I think
And
2
how did
2
you
hours.
find that? I mean,
With my husband, of course.
I mean, how did you find that place?
We went there during winter, and it's really, really awesome. I mean, like, this is the Switzerland of of Asia. It's really awesome. The mountainous things there, the mountainous range with all this. It's amazing. It's a really amazing place, and we enjoyed as a family. I mean, exploring.
What about Karachi? Because
I
that's
love Karachi
a totally
because-
different city again. It's called the City of Lights.
City of Lights, I would say it's almost like Manila. It's a bit
You can
congested.
compare it to Manila,
Yeah,
can you?
a bit congested, but also a lot of seafoods.
Yes,
So when
again, we have the port there. So
Yes, that's our favorite.
So when I go there, you know what I have to do? I have to pack
You
all
indulge in
seafoods. Yeah, I indulge in seafoods.
So you like Karachi, you've liked
I
up
like
north, and which other cities did you mention that you've been to in Pakistan?
Islamabad, Mari.
Islamabad.
Yeah.
Right.
Those
So
two
Dr. Dania, what about you? Did you travel extensively in Pakistan, or you haven't had the chances yet?
No, I did. One is mostly it's work related. So, well,
Yes, I was
I
coming
do.
to that. I'm sure it's work related because
Yes.
also I'll mention that your school is also based in Karachi, Hyderabad, Jamshoro.
Yes, yeah.
you've
Leadership
been
school
visiting
is
these
in,
places
yes,
too.
yeah. I visited I think almost, a lot of places in Karachi, of course, one, Hyderabad, even in Jamshoro, even beyond
Hyderabad
that.
has some good fish, you see. Have you tried it?
Yes, I did. And of course, I also visited Multan, Islamabad, Peshawar,
Did
and
you get
beyond.
a chance to see all the cultural heritage of Multan?
Yes, I love it. Especially all their, that beautiful tomb that you have there, the
Yes.
shrines. Oh wow, it's just lovely. And not to forget, of course, the mango orchard.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did, of course. And
I see you're a mango fan.
well, I happened to be not earlier, but by coming to Pakistan, somehow
It's a
I
big,
just
big
can't
thing
live
here,
without it.
when it's mango season, everybody gets excited and all hyped up. Right, Dr. Qazi? Right, so Dr. Qazi, where all have you been with Dania in Pakistan, or rather taken Dania in Pakistan?
Usually to Islamabad and Mari and Nathia Gali, places like that.
Right, and what's your favorite?
Nathia Gali is a very serene place.
So is there a place now that you have on your bucket list and you've been telling Dr. Dania that We got to go there.
Yeah, the northern areas I have never visited because I was in hostel, then I went to study abroad, then I went to become a doctor also. So it was very difficult. So I have in my pipeline this going to northern areas like Kagan, Naran and all those places. I have never been really.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's
Never
so
been,
much happening. There are new resorts are being built
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
that's true.
I mean, there's so many new holiday retreats there. It's amazing, and they're all 5-star, most of them. So many of them. So the service is great. So we must go ahead and enjoy these places. Time has come. So, well, time for another break. When we're back, we'll further talk about this expedition of theirs, which they're planning to take, and much more. But right after this short break. Okay, so Dr. Qazi, you have a lot on your mind. You were planning to take a trip up north. I think it's time because given you're in the medical industry, she's in the education industry, you must take a break. And as you may have observed from your student college days when you were in the Philippines, so much has changed in Pakistan now.
Very true, yeah.
So we see these new holiday resorts which have come up, which are 5-star standard in quality and can be compared to any hotel or resort anywhere in the world.
That's right.
So have you seen any pictures? Did you get a chance to
I've
see
seen
them?
pictures, always on Facebook, internet.
Yes.
I do see the pictures, yeah.
Yes, and the good thing is that Dr. Dania and Milene, you must have seen so many foreign travelers are coming to Pakistan.
Yes, a lot.
It's amazing, and they just come, they land in Lahore or Karachi, and they directly just book a car or something, and they're there up in the northern areas. Yes. So I'm going to show you some images.
Okay.
Dr. Qazi can comment on the Pakistani side of the images because there'll be two comparative images between the Philippines and Pakistan. Okay. So both parties can comment. For now, you can be two teams, right? Let's do that. Let's take a look at it.
Sure.
So you see Pakistan
Wow.
and Philippines. So pretty similar, huh?
Yes, yes.
Doc Sahib, do you recognize this place?
Yeah, of course, it's Karachi, definitely.
And you see white sands in the Philippines, huh?
Yes.
So yes, we do have churches, we do have cathedrals.
Wow,
and
beautiful, yeah.
of course, the Christian community is in minority, but obviously the religion can be practiced freely, which is wonderful.
Oh, and it's Manila.
Yeah, you were right, absolutely. Karachi and Manila are pretty similar. Milene mentioned that, I remember, yes.
Oh, this is the rice terraces in Baguio.
Wow. Actually, I'd like to visit that.
Really? Oh, it's beautiful. It's actually one of the wonders of the world, you know, the rice terraces, yeah.
How nice. Well, I think we ran short on images. It all looked so pretty there. Pakistan looked amazing. Philippines looked beautiful. So, coming back to Dr. Dania, we were talking about the fact that you started your own school. You've been successful in that. But don't people often, when you meet new people, don't they come and ask you that, why are you in Pakistan? What are you doing here? So, what's your story?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, of course, now I've settled with my own company, leadership school. When I opened up leadership school, of course, as I've said a while ago, it was not very easy, but with the encouragement of a lot of friends, so I was able to do that. And now people are saying, okay, why do you do that? Why are you here? This kind of questions.
Yes.
Well, other than the fact that, of course, I have to be with my husband. I have to be, wherever he goes, I have to be there. But the best part, I think, and I would like to share that also, the reason really why I've opened up my own school, the leadership school, is because I believe that having it, setting it up with the values that I have in mind, I believe that I can really contribute, how much it is, how small or big it is, but something that I can contribute to Pakistan, particularly in values, because I'm a promoter of values. In all our educational institutions here, normally, of course, values, you cannot really teach values.
Yes.
Because it's always caught, okay?
That's
But
your vision.
in our school and in all the institutions where I've been, I always make it a point that we can introduce values in the lower years, because I believe that the lower years is the foundation of values. Like, you know, you can pick up any book. Not a lot of books tells you what is right and what is wrong, really, because it's a lot of facts only. So values is something that you acquire, one, and values is something that you can teach also, especially at the lower years, you know. I mean, telling them the good manners, the right conduct, and, you know, and having a good rapport with others.
Becoming a good person, basically.
Becoming a good human being.
And being prepared for the practical world.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Qazi, was there a time between your marriage, sometime, or there may have been a point when you must have, or where you must have considered moving back to the Philippines with Dr. Dania? Was there ever a discussion between the two of you?
No, just to visit the family. Otherwise, there was no plan. Never was a plan. We were so busy, and she was raising to some levels also. Yes. So I was very happy for her, and she was very convincing.
Her career has been good in Pakistan, right? So yeah, she's been happy.
And he's the only son also. So
that must be difficult.
The only one.
It was very difficult.
So we have to be with the parents.
It was initially very difficult, yeah.
Yeah, but there was never a discussion about moving back to the Philippines.
No, there was never. There was never.
So when Dania came into the family, I'm sure, like you mentioned, it must have been slightly difficult.
It was difficult, really difficult.
But I'm sure they're very happy with her now.
Yeah, with the passage of time, they were saying that how did you choose this kind of person? They used to tell, they always, even now they ask her.
They must be very happy for you.
Yeah, how can you choose such kind of person for yourself?
So they must be taking pride in your decision.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Alhamdulillah.
And Milene, what about you? What about your husband's family? Was it difficult for them in the beginning?
Yes, of course.
I mean, you coming from a different country, a different background?
Of course it is, but they were very well. They really treated me so well from the very start. And after some years, I feel well settled. My kids had great friends in school. They went to Beacon House, by the way, and I met a lot of Pakistani friends, you know, the mothers and all. And then I came as a teacher. I had great colleagues, very supportive, and I can say that I'm 50% Pakistani now. After 2 decades in Pakistan, I mean, I'm feeling so well settled here with all the people and everything. And I want to mention that Lahore, especially Lahore, is very much changed.
Very warm and hospitable.
Yes, I love Lahore.
It's all about food, huh?
Not only about
good food,
but of course Lahore.
Lahore. Oh yes, I mean, how good is your Urdu, Dr. Dania and Milene?
Well, our Urdu, well, you can say we do understand.
Yeah. You do?
Yes, we do speak Urdu also, but Tora.
Okay.
हमारे पठान भाइयों की तरह.
Dr. Qazi, that was a good one. Yeah. Well, was there ever an instance that you must have overheard somebody say something about you in Urdu?
Yes.
And them not knowing that you understand Urdu?
Yes, it happened a lot of times because we don't, you know, mostly, of course, since we are not so fluent in Urdu,
yes,
we prefer not to speak it because, you know, there are a lot of words, by the way, that are almost like, you know, when we say it, because we don't know, we don't have the twang of Urdu.
Yes.
So we say it a different way, like what he said, like in a Pathan way. So I speak Urdu in a Pathan way. So when I say that, it's as if I'm talking in English at the same time. So I prefer not to speak it.
So you'd rather speak English?
Yeah, so when people, you know, probably didn't realize that I knew a bit of Urdu, so they used to speak and I used to say, Mujhe pata hai.
Oh, that must be so terrifying for them.
Yes, it is.
Did it happen to you, Milene?
Yes, actually, sometimes I forgot that they're conversing in Urdu, and I was like, you know, replying also in Urdu, and I don't know it. I mean, like, and they were like, wow, your Urdu is good. You can speak well Urdu. So I said, really? I'm also very conscious of my, you know, like Dr. Dania said, I'm always very much conscious of how the right way of speaking this Urdu, especially my kids, you know, how they study the grammar of Urdu and how there is a he and a she and different
Your kids
way.
are very fluent with Urdu?
Yes, actually my daughter used to join this debating in Urdu as well.
Wow, that's wonderful.
My kids love the Urdu language.
Well, you've encouraged them also.
I encourage
them.
them,
Depends
yes,
upon
of
the mother also,
yeah.
I feel. So what about the Pakistani attire? How difficult was it adjusting to it, or how amazing it was? How was your experience?
Oh my, I feel it's great. when I went to the market and showed this shiny one, and I like it. I love it. The shalwar kameez, I think it's so decent, and I just love it. I took a picture one time and I showed it to my family in the Philippines, and they were like, "What kind of
They
dress
loved
is
it?
Of course, I used to bring home when I come back there to you know, for a visit during the summer holidays. Sometimes I bring home my those kind of clothes.
And your family visits Pakistan, right? Have they?
Actually, they are all married. I have only brothers.
Right.
Yeah, so you know they don't have a chance because all of them are, you know, like kind of busy with their own.
Yeah,
family.
they're busy with their own family
Yes,
units.
yes.
What about you, Dr. Dania? Does your
Yes,
family
yes.
ever get a chance to visit
Yes,
Pakistan?
they did. Yeah, my mom was here, you know, when she was here for a year, and so was my sister. My sister actually worked here for a couple of years also.
Oh, she did.
Yes.
And then she moved back.
She moved back because the kids are growing and they have to go to the university, and you know it's kind of difficult for the kids to go to the university in Pakistan.
And
Again,
your
language
friends, I
barrier.
mean, from college days, did they ever get a chance to visit Pakistan?
Well, not friends, really, not really. Although, you know, some of them really are so happy to see the beauty of Pakistan because they always try to discover. I used to tell them, okay, you know, I've been to this place. I went to Multan. I went to, you know, the northern region. And says, oh, it's a beautiful place. You know, please take us with you. So, well, yes, some of them are really interested in coming to Pakistan.
So, how often do you visit Philippines yourself? I mean, you mentioned that your sister came here. She worked here for a couple of years. Your family does visit, but how often do you get a chance, given you're so occupied with your work?
Well, because I have other business other than, you know.
You're also a trainer.
Yeah. Yes, well, yeah, that's true. I have other business also. I am engaged in export and import. Pakistan, you know.
Hey, Dr. Dania, do you ever have any time on your hands for yourself?
Yes, I do have, and I'm sure my husband will agree with that.
Well, if you push him to say yes, I'm sure he'll say yes.
You should ask him. Yeah, so yes, I do find time in doing that thing. So yes, and I'm happy with it.
Qazi is also a cardiologist. I'm sure you're super busy. You have a job, you have a private clinic.
Yeah.
So how do you guys make time for each other?
Actually, when I'm home, we both of us, we never bring the problems of our workplace at home. So you can imagine that 1 hour become 10 hours really when we are together. We make most of it really. We try our best. We are happy at home, whatever happens.
That's the recipe for a successful marriage. If you both are busy,
Yeah.
given the wife is busy, given the husband's busy. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you, Milene, Dr. Qazi, Dr. Dania. Thank you so much. I mean, there was so much more that I had in mind that we'd discuss and talk about. And we were just getting to that, in fact. But I'll have to end the show here, and I hope to have you back on the show sometime in the future again. But I wish you all the best with your venture, with your work, and with your job. And you all contributing in the best possible ways in Pakistan, in the economy, and towards the human development of Pakistanis. Thank you so much. I will be seeing you next week with a new round of guests from a different nation. Until then, goodbye and keep on watching Discover Pakistan.